This week, I watched a tool complete something in 12 minutes that used to take me 2 hours. And it wasn't even doing anything clever. It was just fast. Now, the headlines want you to spiral about that. But that's not what we're doing here. We're going to treat this like income risk, the same way you treat a variable rate on a loan or a gap in your insurance coverage. You quantify it, you calculate your buffer, and you build a system. If you're mid-career, finance, ops, marketing, product, this isn't about whether AI is good or bad. It's about how exposed your paycheck is to task compression. That's the actual risk worth measuring. Because here's the mechanical truth. AI compresses tasks. People keep roles by owning decisions and outcomes. So let's figure out exactly where you stand, what your actual runway looks like, and what you can do about it starting this week. Think about a Monday morning. You've got a dashboard, a messy spreadsheet, and three people asking the same question. Why did results move last week, and what are we doing about it? Some of what happens next is what I call draftable work. That's the text in, text out stuff, turning bullet points into an executive summary, pulling insights from 6 sources and packaging them into a slide, writing the meeting recap and follow-up email. These tasks are high repetition and low ambiguity, which means AI is already doing them faster than most people can open a blank document. Most research isn't saying jobs vanish overnight. It's saying tasks shift into a hybrid model, where humans direct the tools and own the output. If your week can be copy-pasted, it can be priced down. Then there's the other half of that meeting. Someone has to decide which metric actually matters and which one is just noise. Someone has to pick the explanation they're willing to put their name on. Someone has to make the call when sales says one thing and finance says another. That's decidable work, and it requires accountability, context, and consequences. AI doesn't carry any of those. The line that separates high-risk weeks from low-risk weeks is simple. AI can draft the story. You still have to choose the story you're accountable for. So take 5 minutes this week and list out your daily tasks. Mark each one as draftable or decidable. That ratio is your exposure score. If 70% of your week is draftable, you're high exposure. If it's closer to 50-50, you're medium. And if most of your week is decidable, ownership, judgment, stakeholder alignment, you're low exposure. That's the number that tells you how urgently the rest of this video applies to you. Once you know your exposure, the next question is, if something shifts, how long can you hold your ground? That's your disruption runway, and it's just a division problem. Start with your emergency burn rate, your EBR. This is not your full budget. It's only the essentials. Rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance premiums, minimum debt payments, childcare, and transportation. Nothing else. Here's a clean example. On a $150,000 salary, your ballpark net monthly take-home might be around $8,500, depending on taxes and benefits. If your essential burn rate is $6,500 a month and you have $39,000 in liquid reserves, cash, checking, savings, and money market, not retirement accounts, your runway is $39,000 divided by 6,500. 6 months. In a disruption scenario, 6 months is tight. The target is 9 months. Because transitions aren't one problem. They're 3. Time to reskill, time for the interview pipeline, and time to absorb a pay dip. That's enough time to work through all 3 without making panicked decisions. Now here's where it gets useful. You have 3 levers to extend that runway without earning a single extra dollar. Housing costs, debt minimums, and lifestyle subscriptions. If you reduce your burn rate from 6,500 down to 5,800 through consolidating debt, pausing discretionary auto payments, or a temporary housing adjustment, that same 39,000 now covers 6.7 months. Same cash, lower burn, more time. And moat skills, the human capabilities that are genuinely hard to automate. Stakeholder alignment, decision-making under uncertainty, and communication that actually moves people. You don't need all 3 perfectly. You need one from each column. Pick your domain, pick one AI tool to get fluent with this month, pick one moat skill to sharpen. Negotiation, systems thinking, narrative strategy, then add the seatbelt, not a side hustle. A micro retainer, 3 to 4 hours a week, 1 client, 1 narrow deliverable. 1 client, 1 deliverable, 1 day a week. For example, every Friday by 3 p.m., they get a 1-page memo. What changed? Why? Risks? Recommendation? Fixed scope, often in the $800 to $1,500 a month range, depending on scope. Built entirely on skills you already have. This isn't about building a brand, it's a shock absorber for your primary income. Think of income risk like interest. The more volatile your income, the more anxiety you pay on it every month. Your income APR, anxiety per risk. Here's how you lower it. List 5 tasks you do regularly and mark them draftable or decidable. Calculate your EBR and set a 9-month runway target. Pick one AI leverage skill and one moat skill to focus on for the next 30 days. And send one micro retainer outreach this weekend. That's the system, not doom, just mechanics. Do this once a quarter, your exposure score goes down, your runway goes up, and your options multiply. If you found this useful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more simple explanations.